look out the car window, your heart racing with a mixture of fear and nervousness as you're going to meet your husband. Your father, a close friend of the Mafia boss, had arranged this marriage, believing it would secure their family's safety and success. But you are scared to live with a Mafia whom you never know. As the car pulls through the huge high gates, your eyes widen at the glory of Jungkook's mansion. It was far from life you have lived up to now. When the car stops, you take a deep breath, preparing yourself for the moment you will meet your new husband. You didn't spend much time with him during your wedding ceremony as he left on urgent work after the ritual was completed. The car door opens and a cold-faced man in a crisp black suit extends a hand to help you. "Welcome, Mrs. John," he said in a cold tone as a guard. He only allowed to use that tone. "The master is waiting for you inside." You swallow hard, your palms sweating as he places your trembling hand in his. He steps out of the car, your delicate white dress bulging out in the gentle breeze. Squaring your shoulders, you follow the man up the steps, and you are each step filled with anxiety. "This way, please," the guard said, leading you down a long, richly carpeted hallway. Your heart pounds in your chest as you approach a set of lavish wooden doors. The man knocks firmly, and a deep, authoritative voice came from behind it. "Come in." The doors swing open, your breath catches in your throat as you look at your Mafia husband. He is a handsome figure with sharp features and piercing eyes, making your soul feel nervous. His posture is straight and his expression is unreadable. "Come on," he said in low and smooth voice. "Welcome to your new home." You nodded shakily while your gaze dropping to the floor. "Thank you, Mr. John." Jungkook got up from his chair. He circles the desk, his footsteps echoing in the empty room. You can feel his eyes on you, studying you, and you fight the urge to run away. "Great. If there is anything you require, do not hesitate to ask." You glance up at him, your eyes filled with a mixture of fear and uneasy. Okay," you stuttered, as his gaze waits on you for a moment, and you feel a shiver run down your spine. "Okay, go and take rest," he said, turning to the man who had escorted you. "John, see if your ma'am needs anything." "Sure, sir." The man replies with polite nod. Jungkook gives you one final, unreadable look before he stopped studying you. You stand there, your heart beating as the guard approaches you. "This way, Mrs. John," he said, gesturing towards the door. With trembling steps you follow him, your mind racing with 1,000 thoughts and emotions. As you make your way through the grand corridors of Jungkook's estate, you can't help but feel utterly lost and out of place, a delicate flower in a world of thorns. The man leads you to a set of lavish double doors, which he opens to reveal a lavish bedroom suite. "Ma'am, this is your bedroom. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask." You nodded, and you looked at the lavish bedroom, and it's a far from the modest home you always known, and the thought of sharing this space with Jungkook fills you with a sense of unease, as you're scared of him. Thank you murmured, and your voice barely audible. The man gives you a polite nod and left the room, leaving you alone with your thoughts. You stand there feeling small and overwhelmed, your fingers tracing the delicate lace of your dress. Few days passed. Jungkook might not talk much, but he never disrespected you. You sat alone in your bedroom. You had changed into a simple white nightgown, and you were indulged in your thoughts until you heard a knock on the door. Come in, you called out, your voice barely above a whisper. The door opened and a maid stepped inside, carrying a tray with a steaming bowl of vegetable soup. Ma'am, dinner. The maid said, her voice kind. You offered the woman a small, grateful smile. Thank you. You murmured, your fingers curling around the warm bowl. The maid hovered for a moment, a hesitant look on her face. Is there anything else I can get for you, ma'am? You shook your head. No, this is perfect, thank you. With a polite nod, the maid left, closing the door softly behind her. You stayed down at the soup, your stomach churned with a mix of anxiety and the discomfort of your severe period cramps. Sighing heavily, you set the tray aside, your appetite gone. You curled up on the bed, your arms wrapping around your stomach as you felt a sharp twinge of pain in your abdomen. Tears formed the corner of your eyes, and you squeezed your stomach to bear the pain. The sound of the door opening once more caused you to startle, and you quickly wiped away the tears that had escaped. Ryan, you heard his voice and quickly got up from the bed. I'm sorry for sudden entry. I want to know you are comfortable here. You swallowed hard, your fingers clutching your dress. I'm fine, thank you. You stuttered, hating the way your voice trembled. He nodded and was about to leave, but he stopped to say something. Are you okay? You nodded silently, your gaze fixed on the floor. You could feel the weight of his stare, and you resisted the urge to look away. But I don't think. Before he could complete his sentence, a guard came near to the door. Excuse me, sir. Jungkook's brow furrowed, and he walked towards the door, pulling it open to reveal two guards. Sir, your parents have come. One of two guards said it. Your eyes widened in surprise, and you watched as a sign of irritation on his face. He came to talk to you after a week of mission, and now his parents came to snatch his privacy. Okay, you guys can leave, he said and gestured them with his fingers. The guards bowed their heads respectfully and stepped aside, allowing his parents to enter the room. Your heart raced as you recognized them as Jungkook's parents. It was the first time you were seeing them as your marriage happened all of a sudden. Jungkook, she said, her voice was rich and commanding. It's been far too long since we have seen you. His jaw tightened and he gave a polite nod. Mom, Dad. He gestured towards you, who stood frozen beside the bed, your fingers trembling. She's my wife, Mayan. His mother's gaze fell over you, her expression unreadable. So this is the girl you have chosen to be your wife? Her eyes narrowed slightly and you felt a shiver ran down your spine. Yes, Mom. He replied politely. His father stepped forward, his eyes studying you intently. Now I understand why you chose her. Isn't she beautiful? He said, his voice low and gruff. You fought for the urge to stay strong, your discomfort growing with every passing second. Jungkook, sensing your discomfort, moved to stand beside you. I trust she has been treated well, his mother said. Her gaze is still fixed on you. Of course, he replied, his voice firm. Wine is my wife, and she will be treated with the utmost care and respect. His mother's lips curled into a small smile with little jealousy of you. Suddenly, a particularly intense cramp caused you to gasp. Your hand quickly clutching your stomach, the rice immediately turned to you and you felt your cheeks flush with embarrassment. Van, his voice was coated with concern and he moved closer to you, his hand hovering over your shoulder. I'm fine, you stuttered, your voice strained. Just a bit of discomfort, that's all. Jungkook's brow furrowed and he opened his mouth to speak, but was quickly cut off by his mother. Discomfort. Can't you manage this small thing? I thought you were capable. I pity you, Jungkook. Your eyes widened and you felt her sarcasm. The sharp ache combined with the pressure of his parents' presence proved too much to bear. Tears formed in your eyes, and before you could stop yourself, you lashed out at them. I'm not some delicate flower, you shouted at her, your voice shaking with an emotion. I'm a human being and I'm in pain, but of course that doesn't matter to you, does it? His parents stared at you, their expression a mix of shock and outrage. Jungkook himself looked stunned, his eyes widened as he watched the scene. I'm sorry, he whispered, but that was enough to hear. You realizing what you had done, wrapped hand over your mouth. Without another word, you left the room, tears streaming down your face as you disappeared down the hall. The silence in the room was very loud, the air thick with tension. Jungkook's parents exchanged a look, their disapproval evident. Well, this certainly is interesting. She already disrespected me in first mate, she murmured, her lips pursued in a thin line. Jungkook remained silent, his gaze fixed on the now empty doorway, a storm of emotion running behind his eyes. You went down the dimly lit hallway, your vision blurred by the tears streaming down your face. You couldn't bear the thought of facing Jungkook and his parents again, not after your outburst. The memory of their shocked and disliking expression only flared your embarrassment, and you just want to disappear into the shadows. You come to the other room, slamming the door behind you and leaning against it, your chest heaving. The sharp cramps in your abdomen seemed to intensify because of the discomfort and mood swings you outburst on her. You laid on the bed, collapsing onto the plush comforter as the tears continued to flow. You curled up on your side, hugging a pillow tightly to your chest as you struggled to regain control of your breathing. What have I done? You whispered into the emptiness of the room, your voice little and shaky. The sound of a soft knock at the door caused you to startle, and you quickly wiped your tears. Wine, may I come in? Yes, come in. You said your voice was stuttering slightly. The door opened slowly and Jungkook stepped inside. His gaze quickly found you crouched on the bed, His brow was wrinkled, and the usual cold mask he wore seemed to have slipped, revealing a hope of genuine emotion. I bought something, he said, his deep voice soft and almost hesitant as he approached you, but you were confused. He moved to the beside table, setting down a tray with a steaming bowl of soup. The rich aroma floated through the room, and your stomach growled automatically, betraying your hunger. I thought you might be hungry, he murmured, his gaze meeting yours. You blinked in surprise, your fingers loosening their grip on the bedsheet. You did this for me? You asked, your voice barely above a whisper. He nodded, his expression unreadable. You don't need to worry about my parents. I have already made them understand. I'm sorry. I didn't understand your pain earlier. Your eyes widened and you felt a tears forming in your eyes. I'm the one who should be apologizing, you said, your voice trembling. I didn't mean to lash out like that. I'm having severe mood swings. Jungkook raised a hand, silencing you. There is no need for apologies. I understand you must be going through a difficult time. We don't have any problem. Don't worry, he said, his tone surprisingly gentle. You felt relief and gratitude towards him. You had completely expected him to be angry with you, but instead he was understanding. Thank you. I'm not very hungry, but thanks for your concern. You whispered, your gaze dropping to the tray. I don't care about it, you just have to eat it. He took the spoon into his hand and dipped into soup and gestured you to open your mouth as he was ready to feed you. Silently, you opened your mouth, looking into his eyes as he fed you. The man who used to be cold and ruthless towards is completely understanding and loving towards you. Mine, I know you're afraid of me, but please don't be afraid. I'm not your enemy, I'm your husband. You tried to stop your happy tears, but they didn't as they flow out of your eyes. I fell for you when I see you first time. I decided that I would be your husband. I promised myself that I will take care of you entire life. I might be cold, but I never failed to show my love with my caring gestures. Your tears didn't stop as I heard his confession first time. Mr. John, so stop calling me Mr. John. I would love to hear my name from your mouth. Can you? He was looking at you hopefully. Jungkook. A smile formed on his lips upon hearing his name. He pulled you into his embrace gently and placed a kiss on your forehead. Love you, Ryan. Then the whole night he took care of you. You never felt this much lucky in your entire life. Thank you for watching.